This was a video many of you wanted to see, and here we are. So, the king of pop, Michael Jackson. Now, I have to be honest, I'm by no means a Michael Jackson aficionado, although there has always been one album of his that I can't stop listening to. Before Dangerous, before Bad, and before Thriller, there was of course, Off the Wall. Off the Wall was, in my opinion, Jackson's breakthrough solo album. This was proof that Michael was the solo Jackson. As we all know, Quincy Jones helped produce Off the Wall. Jackson met him while working on The Wiz in 1978. Michael Jackson wanted to create a record that didn't sound anything like he'd done with the Jacksons, and so Off the Wall was created, mainly being remembered as Michael Jackson's disco album. However, there are of course other genres of music featured on here, such as pop, soft rock, and ballads. Now, the album cover is rather simple, but it's still impactful. Listen, the artwork is not this album's strongest point, yet we're not here to look at the album cover. Instead, we're here to discuss the music. The album begins with possibly one of Michael Jackson's most iconic songs. Don't Stop Till You Get Enough. The track begins with MJ mumbling. You can tell this is building up to something until suddenly... Now this track was written for a high vocal range, which obviously suits Jackson. When it comes to the instrumentation, it's jubilant and full of energy. The meaning of the song has been a point of discussion for decades, although it's believed the track is just about never giving up. The music video is unforgettable and ahead of its time. You have to remember, this was the late 70s, a bit before MTV launched. The video works incredibly well, yet the setting is trippy and random. Why are there ice cubes in the background? We won't look at every song on this album in detail, though let's now discuss Rock With You. Compared to Don't Stop Till You Get Enough, Rock With You tells you to lay back, relax. This is conveyed especially through the music video. The lighting is low-key and the green lights are spectacular. As for the lyrics, allow us to take a look at these. I'd mention these two lines as they're describing how, even when the music ends, love still lives on. Now we have one of my favourite songs on this album, Working Day and Night. I mean, wow, it's oh so catchy. The instrumentals give off an upbeat vibe, and the lyrics have a fair amount of depth, which honestly surprised me. When listening to Off the Wall, I'm mainly focused on the wonderful instrumentation, not so much the lyrics. Next we have Get On The Floor. The way this song begins is sudden, though effective. It's about trying to get someone on the dance floor. I adore the soaring chorus for this track. And how could I not mention the fact that the bass is fantastic? Right, side 2 begins with Off the Wall, the title track. Like most of the songs featured on this album, this track is definitely danceable. You almost feel inclined to get up and strut your stuff. Lyrically, Off the Wall is about getting over your troubles. You've got to live with no worries. You've got to live off the wall.
Groove, let the medicine, the music get to you. Life ain't so bad at all if you live it off the wall.
For the UK singles chart, this song peaked at number 7, and so did Rock With You. Meanwhile, Don't Stop Till You Get Enough ended up reaching number 3 in the UK. But as you know already, this album was a huge success. Nevertheless, what song do we have next? Girlfriend. This is technically a cover, as the track was written by Paul McCartney, then being released in 1978. Although McCartney wanted the song to be sung by Jackson, and so Michael covered Girlfriend, only a year after the track was initially released. This cover is miles better than the original. I mean, just listen to this. But still, I'm not too fond of this song. If I'm being honest, I skip Girlfriend. I can't help but feel as if the track feels out of place on this album. Following after is She's Out of My Life. This is Off the Wall's ballad, perhaps this album's most poignant track, with Jackson crying nearer the end. In terms of where the song is placed on this album, it works decently well. After all those high-octane disco songs, it's nice to take a breather. Moving on, I Can't Help It. This track got me thinking about how there are a number of songs on Off the Wall that are not singles but are brilliant. It's a shame that certain songs on here will never get the recognition they rightfully deserve. I Can't Help It is free from any sense of tension. The song helps you to unwind. However, I Can't Help It does maintain the same excitement as earlier tracks, yet it's just played down. I especially love the chorus for this song, and the same can be said for the next track. It's the Falling in Love. I look forward to hearing this song every time I give this album a listen. Much like I Can't Help It, it is relaxing, yet more punchy. It's a great duet. And lyrically, the meaning is clear. The lyrics touch on someone who likes the feeling of falling in love, but being in love is a completely different matter, because being in love is hard for them and makes them, quote, cry. After It's the Falling in Love, there's the final track, Burn This Disco Out. This song ends the album on a high, not being afraid to sound as funky and thrilling as previous tracks on Off the Wall. The track serves as a reminder of how Off the Wall came out around the tail end of disco, hence the title Burn This Disco Out. In a sense, this is a farewell to the disco genre. The instrumentation keeps that high-octane sound. There's never a dull moment with this track. I can see why many say this is one of their favourite songs on the album. In summary, Off the Wall is an album that I adore. The disco album has always been one that I play from time to time. It's got terrific structure, beginning with the more exuberant tracks, and knowing when to take a breather, before launching us into yet another electrifying disco song. If you have for some reason not listened to OTW in its entirety, please do. I understand Jackson had many great albums, although Off the Wall should never be overlooked, and solely counted as Michael's disco album, because it was much more than that. It was Michael Jackson's breakthrough solo album, and without Off the Wall we may have never heard the likes of Billie Jean, Smooth Criminal, Beat It, Man in the Mirror, the list goes on. So with that said, I hope this video has given you a greater understanding of why Michael Jackson's Off the Wall is amazing. Hello, I hope you enjoyed the review. What are your thoughts on the album Off the Wall? What album should I review next? Make sure to tell me in the comments down below. Subscribe if you're new and want to see more content like this. Like this video if you enjoyed it. Share this video to anyone who may be interested. Goodbye.